Hello everyone, welcome back to my book vlog. Today we are discussing a phenomenon. We are discussing The Mighty 6-4 by Hideo Yokoyama. This has been a bestseller in Japan for years and it has sold millions of copies worldwide now that it is being translated. And I know many of you have bought this as much as I have actually, really drawn by the eye-catching cover and the bright neon pink outline to the pages. And of course, crime is such a popular genre. And so I bought this last year, but obviously as you can tell by the size, I kept putting it off. It's not easy to put in the bag. But over Christmas, I did finally get the chance to really wade through the 600 pages of 6-4. And I have to say, it's not what I expected at all. This is a very unusual and richly rewarding and almost unique approach to crime fiction. So I thought it'd be worth discussing. Okay, so 6-4, the plot of 6-4. It basically revolves around a cold case in the Japanese police force. 14 years ago, the kidnapping of a young woman went very wrong. The ransom was paid, but the body of the young girl still turned up dead. And it's been an embarrassment to the Japanese police force ever since. The code name of this case is 6-4, hence the title of the book. It's now coming up in the plot of this book to the 14-year anniversary of 6-4. And in a bid to try and sort of resuscitate and re-engage the Japanese public to see if they can remember anything, to see if they can get any kind of bolster or new evidence in on this case, the Japanese police have decided to hold a bit of a engagement, a bit of a PR around the case, and they've turned to their head of press, a guy called Mikami, to try and arrange a series of PR arrangements where the police constable will meet with the family of the kidnapped girl, the murdered girl, and see if they can somehow engage the Japanese public again. That is the setup of this case, 6-4. What I expected was a page-turning thriller, because that is of course pretty much how most crime novels are written. You are completely drawn in and you turn each page quickly, you can't put it down, it's gas, there are lots of twists and turns, and that's really what I expected of this mammoth book, I suppose, is that I really thought 6-4, this cold case, is going to get solved, there's going to be great revelations, and that's really what's going to drive us through the book. That is actually not at all what happens in 6-4. Instead, the main character is Mikami, the head of the Japanese press. And this book follows rather the inter-bureaucratic rivalries of the Japanese police force, the regrets, the everyday nuances, battles with the press, concepts of press freedom, crime reporting. 6-4, the case, is the thread that holds this book together, but really this is about regrets from the past, ambition. There's a lot of time spent in Mikami's private life. This unfolds like a television series. You know how you get a box set, particularly of something like The Wire, sort of 40 episodes, and each episode is a really interesting subplot into itself, another character, a character that's not really linked to the main plot, but you really get into their private lives and their experiences, and the winding and the ripples out from the center of the story. That is what 6-4 is. It is a really slow burn unfurling of the population of people within the Japanese police force, and in fact such is the cast of characters that Hideo has actually got what is effectively, I suppose, an org chart of all the principal characters that you will engage with. Sort of Mikami's rivals in other divisions, Mikami's boss, Mikami's former bosses, former chiefs from the time 14 years ago when 6-4 was a live case, who are now retired or have now gone into hiding because they're upset with public blame for their failure. So it's a huge cast of characters. So actually what this 600-page book is an investigation into Mikami as he connects again with all these characters, all these people from the past, and you uncover sort of personal rivalries, resentments, old historic arguments and fallings out, and the source is a difficult relationship with his wife and his old wife's friends, and it sort of unfolds like that. And it is easily, therefore, a book you can put down and walk away from. And I'm aware that there are some people who just sort of 200 pages in have thought, where's the case? Where's the kind of police detective case? Because of course Mikami's in press. He's not actually really in investigative work anymore. He was shuffled aside. course, you find out why he was shuffled aside. But the case does come back in later in the book in a big way. And the case 6-4 is addressed. But what is interesting is the path that it takes to get there. It is very unusual. It does richly reward the reader if you stick with it. And I know some people have stopped at 400 pages, even 500 pages. The last 100 pages are what you expect from a crime thriller. It does sort of pick up pace and has a lot of energy. But yes, you do have to wade through something that's very slow, something that's very gentle, that's something that's quite intimate and personal for a long period of time. There are a huge amount of characters, and you will find yourself referring to the org chart, even though you swear you don't. But I got a lot from 6-4, and I understand why it's been such a phenomenon. However, I do warn you, if you're looking for your page-turning thrillers, 6-4 isn't the one for you. But I did find it very fulfilling.